Ola Electric, and their massive new headline which says that they've increased their store count by quite a lot. Let's get into
Absolutely
it.
crazy story here again. So now, when I heard this story, and we will talk about that. And when I heard this story, then I'm looking at Ola as a stock with a whole new lens, I'd say, because now I feel like, hey, can this company actually play out a multi-bagger story? Is this the kind of stock that the retail investors were waiting for? Because things are looking very interesting. We should talk about it. But again, starting with the headlines that they only had nearly 800 stores till September, which is what, 3 months before. Now they are reporting that they are having nearly 4,000 stores. That is adding 3,200 stores within just 3 months. It is crazy. It is adding nearly 35 stores a day. So that is definitely crazy. So a two-wheeler EV stock like Ola Electric, adding so many stores and a lot of other good things about the company. Now I really want to talk about, hey, is this a multi-bagger opportunity? Is this stock gonna do wonders?
So you talked about the good things about the stock. Let me now talk about the bad things about Ola Electric. One, the entire PR around the company is really bad right now. One, quality control issues, scooters catching fire randomly.
Yeah.
Not a great place to be at, especially for a new technology. Then we are looking into the founder not being branded really well, especially on social media. The Kunal Kamra fight, I know a lot of you from the audience might be remembering it really well. Not at all a good place for the company to be at. And we also have bad after sales support and the service network not at all being proper. But somehow, despite all of this, they're keeping sales up. And I think that's a winning mindset despite all the shortcomings here.
Yeah, man. Like whatever you tell, I think we'll have to respect Bhavish Agarwal. He's trying, man. At least he's trying. He's trying his best to. While you say the PR isn't great, but I think he's trying his best to do good things. He's coming up with the scooters with speakers. He's celebrating it. He's coming on live streams and trying to do a lot of things. I know there is a touch of craziness there, but hey, maybe sometimes certain crazy founders tend to create amazing outcomes, crazy outcomes in terms of revenue growth for the company, share price growth for the investors as well, right?
Yeah.
That's where I really am looking at the company. And if you look at Ola Electric coming out with their two-wheelers, they launched in December 2021.
So they're just 3 years old.
They're just 3 years old.
Competing with the giants like Hero MotoCorp, Bajaj Auto, and even TVS for that matter. And today, where are they at?
Yeah, so in this 3 years alone, so they started from scratch. Within 3 years, they have gone to nearly 5,000 crores of revenue. They are the market leaders. So, like you said, there are they were the incumbents like your Bajaj Auto and Hero and all the popular two-wheeler brands, and they came out of nowhere with their tech and with whatever they were doing, and they've gone from 0 to 5,000 crores in 3 years, and now 4,000 stores is something that they have today, and they are the market leaders. So that I think is a huge achievement in itself, and I think you have to give it to them. There is some magic that they are doing. It can't be like out of nowhere or out of nothing that a company is able to reach so much revenue, sell so many scooters, and do so many things. So I really think there are merits to the company. Now, this is regarding their revenue and what has been happening there. If you look into the stock price movements, things haven't been that great. So they did their IPO back in August 2024. So more than a year ago. So they did their IPO at around 75 rupees. Stock doubled to nearly 150 within few days.
Okay.
Right? It was a crazy IPO. But from there, because of bad PR and whatnot, right? I mean, things haven't been great for them. The stock fell from 150 to nearly 65 rupees.
And now I think it's back up, right?
It's back up to nearly 90, 100 rupees.
Still not great.
Yeah,
but
share price movement hasn't been great. But again, let's forget that. I really want to talk about what amazingness is this company doing to grow its revenue, to grow more market share, grow presence, and do a lot of things. And that is what is triggering the thought in me, hey, is this company here to stay? Can this play out a Tesla kind of a story in India and can maybe grow into a huge company?
Yeah.
They're even coming up with their bike, right?
Yeah. Very interesting shaped and designed bike, I would say. And talking about Tesla, right? So even before Ola Electric, I'm sure there were a lot of EV scooter manufacturers in India.
Yeah.
But Ola Electric created that wave of I don't know, marketing genius maybe, where everyone suddenly wanted to shift into electric, right? They were comparing price per liter of or price per kilometer of riding a petrol scooter versus an electric scooter. And they had an amazingly designed long range scooter at a lower price than their competitors. And they swept it off, right? They swept the entire competition off their feet. Now, when we talk about them being the market leaders in the electric scooter segment, I think the story that has played out is absolutely crazy. It's exactly what Tesla did in the US market, and Bhavish Agarwal very often is compared to Elon Musk as well. So that's also a funny thing
Mostly
there.
he tries to get compared to Elon Musk, but yeah, that's an
Yeah,
entire.
but I think in the story, he definitely needs to be compared
Yeah.
to Elon Musk, right? So, what Elon Musk did for cars in the US, I think Bhavish Agarwal did it for scooters in India with
Right, so
their
these are
release.
again right reasons for why this could be a multi-bagger, this could grow really well from here. And also the fact that it is operating in two-wheelers. And India is a two-wheeler country. So there are 26 crore two-wheelers in the country of India, while there are only 5 crore cars. So
Okay.
for 1,000 Indians, there are nearly 180 to 200 two-wheelers in the country.
Okay.
So you look around, India is a country of two-wheelers, and that is where Ola is operating. And I also strongly believe that two-wheelers as a market would eventually transition into near 100% electric. That's just an eventuality that will
Yeah.
play over time. And when that plays over time, Ola Electric, which today is the market leader, if they can continue their stature of market leader, hey man, like they're gonna sit on top of a gold mine of sorts. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, so they have market share to catch from Heroes, your Bajaj, your TVS, right? And by doing all of that, I think their current valuation also is kind of interesting. I wouldn't call it high or low yet, but their valuation of 39,000 crores or their market cap, I think it's interesting when comparing to its competitors.
Now, speaking about market capitalization, that's exactly where I'd like to talk about the competitors, the listed competitors like Hero, TVS, and even Bajaj Auto, right? So these companies have been doing good. They're very famous. We all see them, and these are the companies that Ola has kind of overtaken. But now, if you look into the market cap, let's forget market cap. Let's talk about revenue, right? So Ola is doing nearly 5,000 crores of revenue.
Okay.
All these other companies like Hero, TVS Motor, Bajaj Auto, they are doing nearly 40,000 to 50,000 crores of revenue.
Combined or individually?
Each of those companies are doing nearly
Crazy.
40,000 crores a year. Now I know Bajaj Auto has not just two-wheelers, they have other business as well.
Three-wheelers, yeah.
Three-wheelers and some certain other business. Same goes to TVS Motors as well. They also have certain other business lines than their two-wheelers as well. But then for the sake of this discussion, let's understand their large revenue pool out of their 50,000 crores of revenue, the largest contributor definitely is two-wheelers.
Yes.
So we are talking about a entire revenue pool of two-wheeler industry north of even 1.5 lakh or even 2 lakh
2
crores.
lakh crore combining all the unlisted players, Honda.
Yeah, all of them, Honda and who not?
Eicher. All of them
man,
combined.
Eicher as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you put them, it might even go to what 3, 4, 5 lakh crores even. So
Could be.
that's the kind of revenue pool we are talking about, and this revenue pool is what I was mentioning earlier. This could turn into EV, and Ola is starting out as a leader here, and they are targeting this large revenue pool, and that's where I get the feel of, hey, can this company go places? But that is where things are also interesting, because again, Hero, TVS Motor, these are companies with what, 40,000 crores of revenue. Their market cap, now that's what you mentioned, right? Their market cap is nearly 80,000 to 1 lakh crore only.
Okay.
Which
So,
is
a revenue multiplier of around?
around 2.
Yeah.
So Hero, TVS Motor, again, large companies, major famous brands doing large numbers, much higher numbers than Ola overall in the market. So their revenue multiple is just 2, while Ola's revenue multiple is already nearly 8. By
Yeah.
what you said, because
Yeah.
you said revenue is nearly 5,000 crores a year and the market cap is nearly 40,000 crores. So
crores.
from a valuation perspective, maybe it is already slightly highly valued, but maybe that's also this entire story being built in. Because again, we always tell this, right? Valuations are always based on future projections of how big the company can be.
Yeah.
So maybe investors are already baking in that expectation from Ola Electric, and maybe that's why the valuation is high. But hey, that's the story I really wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So when you're talking about the two-wheeler space, the all the current listed players, they're also working mostly under the commuter segment. That means people want to go from place point A to point B, people will buy a bike.
Yeah.
Those are not the enthusiasts who are buying a bike there. And when you're talking about Hero Splendor, India's most sold bike ever, it has sold more than 30 lakh units in its lifetime. So imagine that number, and you can imagine a Splendor rider to be a commuter, right? He's going from point A to point B in a stylish way. Now that's what Ola is trying to replace. And I think they're in a beautifully poised or a beautiful path where they can kill off their entire competition. The competition is scared. Hero had invested in Ather Energy quite a lot of years back, and even in their IPO, they're not even going to sell a lot of shares, is what the rumor is. So I think it's going to be very interesting. The new player, the new kid in the block, Ola Electric versus all the legendary listed companies in India.
Yeah, good that you mentioned Ather. That's again a huge story which was to play out, which hasn't played out to that extent today. But still, if you look at market share, Ather is number 3 in terms of market leadership.
And again, it's highly fluctuating. I understand Ather is number 3, but if all of the audiences are watching, you'll have to watch out for the sector on a monthly or even a quarterly basis.
That's how hot the sector is.
Yeah.
That's how very quick things are moving, right?
Yeah.
So I understand all those points, but bringing things back into perspective, let me talk about all the things that I love about Ola Electric. So these are the 5 points I really love about Ola Electric as a stock, right? So number 1, this is the headlines today. They have nearly 4,000 dealerships across India, and
Yes.
that is crazy with a great sales network. Who is even stopping them? Number 2, they are currently the market leader in EV scooters, and they are in a great position to even win further from here. Point number 3 is their aggressive pricing. They have got it right on, spot on with their pricing. And 4 is they're building for the Indian masses. They're really understanding the Indian consumer, understanding what they want, and they're building it really well. And number 5, they're building it really well with great R&D, and they have great in-house technology is something that I believe. So all these put together, I really think that Ola Electric is in a good trajectory to win and eventually, lead the market.
Yeah,
right?
to capture the EV scooter shift, right? That
Absolutely.
is going to happen in the Indian market. I think they're at a good place. And talking about the bad points, I think I covered them already. So bad after sales network and bad quality of parts. Actually, they are the highlights for me. Not even going to talk about the founder or any
Yeah.
of that. But they'll have to solve all of this. They'll have to solve all of this. And I think they're on the right track. So all these new dealerships that they've opened, Ola Electric is saying that these dealerships are also going to be their service centers. So that's some new innovation that they're bringing in, which their competitors are not. Combining dealerships with service networks, and this together, right? This together might be the change that Ola Electric very desperately needed, that they need to improve their service network, right? I think a lot of people have been saying that.
Yeah, so this founder issue is definitely a double-edged sword. But anyways, keeping all this aside, Ajay, what do you think? Can Ola Electric become a multi-bagger?
I'm personally very bullish on the electric scooter segment in India. As you talked about it earlier, India loves two-wheelers. India is a two-wheeler country. And I think that is a way to go for the Indian market. And inside the Indian two-wheeler market, Ola Electric is the best to go ahead into the new future, the EV scooter future that we are foreseeing here. They're already the market leader. I'm sure they'll be able to capture a lot more market share if things go well, or if things go right for them in the upcoming 5 years.
Absolutely. So again, speaking slightly about the founder not taking feedback well, not understanding that service is something that they have to focus on. Yes, although PR is not really nice about them, but we are now actually seeing hints of them taking the feedback well. So increasing, see, while we say that the number of outlets or distributors are increasing to 4,000, all these 4,000 outlets have service as well. So which
Yeah.
is kind of taking the feedback well is also something I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I think sometimes it's those crazy founders that create the change that people want to see in the world. If you stayed back, I mean, I really have to commend Mr. Bhavish Agarwal when compared to Ather CEO here. So Ather did all the right R&D, hired the right people, built the right scooter, but on the other side, Ola Electric took all the right bets. They were daring. They threw money at the right problems, and they threw money at marketing, and they're the market leaders very clearly. So I think
Absolutely.
we have to appreciate him for that mindset.
Right.
And maybe sometimes that mindset, people might mistake it for craziness, but maybe that's a winning mindset
Yeah,
that a lot
speaking
of.
about that, I clearly remember this quote from the very famous Steve Jobs, and I remember back in my college days, I used to put this quote from Steve Jobs as my WhatsApp status as well. Those who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones that eventually would change the world. So again, we could probably end the story by remembering that great quote.